Hey everyone, if you're looking for an in-depth look at Flyers memorabilia, then I got you covered with a show called Flyers Corner exclusively on the Timmy Flyersguy YouTube channel every Wednesday.
Hey everybody, it's me, Timmy Flyersguy, and welcome to another edition of Throwback Flyersguy. I'm your host, Timmy Flyersguy, and we're throwing it back to the late 2000s. And on this date on this date in September of 2000 was when I got my spinal fusion. But I want to talk about the things leading up to my spinal fusion. In the summer of 2000, I have a lot of great memories of the summer of 2000. I remember going down the shore that year in 2000, and I remember just hanging out with my family and my cousin Jay, who came down with us, and his wife at the time, and we all hung out, I'm sure. Some of us went to the boardwalk. We had such great nights, hanging out together, eating pizza, getting food from the local deli Blitzes. If you guys don't know what Blitzes is, you don't know what you're missing because they got some good food at Blitzes. So, and then I also remember in August getting Digimon World for the PlayStation and playing that game. Let me tell you, that game was the most difficult game I have ever played in my entire life. Just raising a Digimon and getting it to Digivolve into the Digimon you wanted to Digivolve in was such a hassle. But I enjoyed the game, and I kept trying every time. Each time I played, I got farther and farther. But I just wasn't good at it, you know. But it was an alright game, and I enjoyed playing it. And then I remember around August, I went to a barbecue. I went to my mom's friend's house, and we went to this awesome barbecue. They had some great barbecue chicken there. It was amazing. And I also remember going to the hospital to get a sleep study. It was my first sleep study, and they put all this stuff on me, electrodes and all kinds of stuff and whatnot, and I did pretty well. This was way before I had the ventilator, and way before I slept with a BiPAP machine, or CPAP, or whatever. So, I did pretty well. I was still pretty good at playing video games. Still had the ability in my hands. And I remember a couple days before the spinal fusion, I had to go to the hospital to get some blood work and get prepped for the surgery. Let me tell you, I was a nervous wreck a couple of days before that. And I remember the days before that, I remember playing N64, and I remember the game I was playing was WCW NWO World Tour. Yes, I revisited that game in 2000. Back then, I had a Nintendo 64, I had a PlayStation, and I had a Dreamcast, which was pretty cool back in the day. So, the day before the surgery, I went to my cousin's house. Hung out with my cousins, Michael, Billy and Bobby, and my cousin Ryan, cousin Sarah, and I was hanging with some of Uncle Gary and Michelle as well. And I remember I was a nervous wreck that day. But luckily, I still had an appetite that day. I remember having Taco Bell. I remember it was either Taco Bell or KFC that I had for dinner that day. It might have been one of them. So the day leading up to the surgery, we're in the house and we're getting ready to go, getting ready to get put in the car to go to get surgery. But they offered us to go to the Marriott Hotel, which was across the street from Children's Hospital, and we stayed there before the surgery because it was just more convenient that way. So I remember that day, like it was yesterday. I was watching Toonami. I think I was either watching Tenchi Universe, Tenchi Muyo, or Dragon Ball Z or something. And we were leaving to go to the house. And I was scared there. I was nervous about the surgery. So we go to the Marriott. I end up getting a steak and a baked potato for dinner. And after all that, I ended up getting ready for the night after. I was asleep, and then I woke up in the hotel. We were getting ready to go across the street to Children's Hospital. And this was the day I was getting the spinal fusion. We walk in to the waiting room to wait to go to surgery. And while I'm waiting, they have a Super Nintendo hooked up for people that are waiting to go in to get surgery. So I end up playing a little bit of Donkey Kong Country on the Super NES. And they call me in to get the surgery. They prep me, they get me on the gurney, take me in the room. And this is the weirdest thing. I remember something that happened when they were prepping me for the surgery. They gave me some laughing gas to get me ready for the surgery so I wouldn't feel pain. I remember being in there just laughing my ass off for no apparent reason. The doctors are laughing as well. They're getting a kick out of it, and I'm getting a kick out of it, and I'm laughing my ass off. 10 minutes later, I wake up, the surgery's over, and I don't know if I woke up a day later or I woke up that day. I remember waking up that day, and I was in incredible pain. My back was killing me. When they put me in the bed, I felt this ache in my back after the surgery, and it was horrible. I ended up going, oh, because it was so painful. I remember just staying in the hospital for several days. I wasn't allowed to eat anything for a couple of days after the surgery, and I was starving. And all I could think about was food. When I could eat, the first thing I ate was a sausage biscuit from McDonald's and a hash brown. Also had a Dr. Pepper. I ended up drinking the Dr. Pepper, and I ended up, I don't want to say the word, but I ended up drinking the Dr. Pepper, and then it didn't agree with me. And after the surgery, it didn't agree with me, and I'm not gonna say what I did. Let's just say I lost my lunch. Or I don't know. I'm sorry to say that. Just ended up. I ended up. What's the scientific word of saying this?
Vomited.
I vomited. There we go. So I apologize for sharing that part. Forget that I said that. By the way, that was my one of my cousins in the background. So here we go. So like I said, I was there for a few days. Ended up going home. When I got home, I was still in pain, and there were nights that I couldn't sleep, but I was happy to be home. Later, I ended up getting better. I ended up feeling better as well. The only thing that we didn't really understand is the rod in my back. I had like a hump in my back, and I've seen people that had spinal fusions, and they didn't have a hump sticking out of their back. And you guys know what happened to me because of that. Many years later, in 2017, that hump in my back started to protrude into my back. Long story short, that is why I'm on the tracheostomy. Because years ago, when I had that hump in my back, and in 2017, it started to protrude into my back. And then we ended up having to get rid of that. After surgery, I ended up aspirating, and that is why I have this tracheostomy in my throat. So, honestly, if you're gonna get spinal fusion surgery, make sure it's done correctly. That's all I gotta say to you. Make sure it's done correctly. That's all I gotta say about that. Guys, thank you for listening to my story of when I got my spinal fusion. Have a great day, everyone. And like always, if you're gonna get surgery, make sure it's done right. I'm Timmy Flyersguy, and this has been Throwback Flyersguy. Have a great day, everyone.